All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Episode 5 of the Wheel of Bossing. Now, it's going to be a little bit longer between episodes that I produce these now. With me going back to work and going back to the gym and stuff, it's a lot less time to be able to actually play. But I will do my best to get whatever boss that I am tasked to kill killed as fast as I can so that you guys can watch and see the videos. But otherwise, without further ado, again, thank you for what you guys been doing, watching the videos, etc., liking the videos. I appreciate it all. We've had 4 episodes so far. We started off with a banger with Vorkath, then we got Scorpia for a little bit, Leviathan for 100. That one killed us a lot, but we killed it 100 times. And then we went a little overboard with the deranged archaeologist, but here we are. We killed it. Now, what are we going to get for this episode? Episode 5 of the Wheel of Bossing. We got our wheel here. We got all the bosses on here. Now, what are we going to get, though? We will find out right now. And without further ado, drumroll please. We got Scurious. Ah, a little Scurious action. So, I believe I actually have a wheel for this. So let me see. I don't know if this is going to pop up my local files right here, but we'll find out. Okay, cool. Scurious. Do I have one? Okay, it doesn't look like I ended up saving that one, so let me quickly make a wheel for Scurious, and I will be right back. All right, we're back after that little short intermission. What I ended up doing actually was referencing back to my very first video, which did actually have the example of the Scurious spine, or sorry, the Scurious wheel. So I referenced through that, and I ended up creating a different wheel to make it so it's a little bit different. Curved bone is still there, long bone is there. I just did drop it down to 1 long bone or 250 kc, and then the curved bone is going to be 350 kc. We still got the 5 Scurious spines in there and a bunch of different kcs, just to kind of make it so that this won't be a really short thing. I'm not too worried about Scurious. Scurious is really easy to kill, especially for me having the max gear, so I'm not too worried. But if we kind of are looking at the Scurious kind of drop table here, we're going to see some rune items and stuff, and just like the simple consumables. But I guess really the biggest thing that you're really looking for is the Scurious spine, as this is more catered towards the mid-level people. You can turn those Scurious spines in to get XP towards your melee stats. I believe all combat stats. I could be wrong. I should still have. Damn, I didn't know it went up to 7.14. Why did it go up so much? It's been a little bit since I've been on. So why, I don't know why it's up so much. Anyways, all right. Well, that's a little bit of a surprise. We're up to 7 bill bank. Anyways, what was I doing? Scurious spines. So I believe I should already have some. Yes, I have 7 Scurious spines here. So I've killed them before. I'm not really sure what my KC is at right now. I don't know if this will work. Scurious. I just don't want to butcher the spelling. 153. So we're looking at about 153 KC currently. With whatever we land on, we will be in the 200s to 300s with our KC. I mean, if we land on the curve bone, that we're gonna have to add 350, so that's already gonna add it up to 500. So there is a chance that we could get the pet. It's a 1 in 3,000, so it's gonna be probably unlikely, but you never know. But with that being said, oh, not that one. With that being said, here we go. We got our wheel. We have our challenges here. Let's give this a big amount of shuffles here so that it's all over the place. Nothing's in order. And with that being said, we have episode 5, Scurious as our monster. What is our challenge? Okay. Simple 125 KC. I mean, just like last episode, if it ends up being where I'm at 125 KC, I'm kind of on a groove, and I'm feeling like, you know what, I'm going to throw a couple more kills in. I will do that. However, if I'm feeling like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this boss, I will end at the 125. I will not shortcut it. I will go to the 125, and then we will move forward. Though, now, let's look. We got 125 KC for Scurious. Scurious should be pretty simple. Most likely, it's going to be max gear that we're going to be using. So let's see here. This is the strategy page for Scurious. We're obviously going to be at the high level, not the mid tier. So it's looking like we're going to be using our full Torva, Rancor, Scythe, etc. If we did have the Soul Reaper, we would utilize that over the Scythe, just so we're not burning through our charges so much. So maybe we'll just see how the supply usage is. I never ended up getting a chance to show this. It didn't, unfortunately, track really well the supplies usage because of the eye, wherever it is, the Eye of Aak not appearing on this. So it should show the scythe since it's showing the shadow. So we will be able to get a way better accurate kind of track of our total supply costs. So again, at the end, I will show the total loot from the Scurious boss, as well as our supply usage, so that you guys can see kind of what to expect. But without further ado, we will be grabbing our full Torva here. Throwing that on with our Radha's Blessing. I always seem to forget to grab that. So here we are. We got our full gear. Eventually, I do want to get Blorva. That's going to be a challenge in its own, but we will try to get that eventually. I do still need to do the Colosseum as well as getting my rune pouch upgraded. So we're hoping to land on the the Tombs of Damascus at some point. We are hoping. Otherwise, we might just have to do it as like a little side task, and I will just show you like kind of what I'm getting. But otherwise, our goals are that. We do need the rat weapon. I think it's just called bone mace. We'll need that, and then we'll need a couple super divines. We only have one, so I'll just probably just grab regular super combats here. As for our spec weapon, we will use our burning claws, and then it's just really just prayers potions here. So we'll probably grab about that. And then as for healing, we can grab 4 Sorrow Brews just for some healing. And then super restores. So we'll grab that. I don't think we're going to need thralls for this. This is a really easy boss. I'm not too worried about needing thralls. I will grab the Holy Wrench. That was really useful in the last boss. I have completely forgotten about Holy Wrenches. So we'll grab the Holy Wrench. We'll grab our Max Cape. Since there is rune drops, I'm going to actually grab the regular spellbook for some high level alchemy, just so I can do that. But otherwise, that is what our inventory will look like. Now, to get to Scurious, you could just go from the Grand Exchange here. Uh, it's super easy to get to Scurious. Um, he's just in Varrock over in the sewers. So you just kind of head from the Grand Exchange going this way. Otherwise, if you teleport to Varrock, you'll land right there. And you're just going to go down this manhole right here. And then you will simply just make your way down this way, where you will see this like kind of grate that is broken over here, and you will see all these rats kind of making their way towards this area, and they're gonna kind of just funnel their way down there. So that's when you know, like there's this giant rat right here, for example, that's gonna make his way down. Now, who you talk to is gonna be this person right here, and this guy will be who you kind of give your Scurious spines to when you end up getting them, and he will kind of give you some XP. So you can see that he's saying Scurious spines are ready for his, or really good for his research, etc. And then you can make the bone weapons, which I ended up doing one of the spines for the bone mace. And then you can also get some XP. So this guy right here, he's got the Blorva on, and he's got the Soul Reaper's axe. So he's probably got a little bit better gear for longer trips without costing too much money. So I might see what that looks like investing into a Soul Reaper's axe. I don't know what they're looking like right now for price. Might be one word. Yeah. So they're around 280K. So we'll see. I mean, I think if I sell some things, I could get it. But we're not too worried unless it's costing us way more than we're gaining. Then there's really no point to use the scythe. So we will see what we do. But without further ado, once I do get the 125 kills, I will let you guys know. And yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, so we're kind of mid-kill here. I just kind of wanted to go through a couple of the little things that Scurious ends up doing. So while he's eating this cheese, he will kind of constantly heal himself. But then he has 3 different attempts of attacks. That's one of them where he just kind of stomps the ground and rubble will fall from the ceiling. So you just have to move a tile over. And then he has like that lightning attack that you saw, which will be his magic attack. And then there's going to be like a poison like cloud type thing that's going to fall. So let me show you the kill again. Obviously, my kills are going to be way faster than yours might be if you're not using max gear. However, if you do have max gear, you're probably going to get something similar. So you'll start out the kill protecting melee, and then he'll do those like kind of stomp attacks like that, but he'll start with all melee except for those little stomp attacks for the beginning of the fight. The minute he goes and eats the cheese, that's when he will start doing his magic and range attacks. So that's when you want to be just kind of paying attention to what is like being thrown at you. So he did 2 magic attacks there and then a stomp. So another magic attack, and maybe he'll throw a range. No, he'll do another stomp. And he's going to the middle because I've done enough damage. And he basically is in his last stand. So that's his range attack. He summoned rats. So when you do eventually get a spine from them, you're just going to want to make the bone mace or whatever your like combat style you're using is. And you're going to make one of those so that way you can just one hit those rats. It's very simple. It's a very easy boss. It's very good for training wise, especially for the beginning of the game. This kind of became like a really good early level grind for XP for your combat stats, especially for still getting like rune items and stuff. So for someone that's kind of like in the point of the game that I am, this is pretty pointless for me to do. Um, However, that's not the point of the series. The series is about getting more kills in our boss log so that we can kind of like see at the end of the year all the progress that we've made. So I want to say, I wish I could see what I did last year. I'll have to re-look it up. But I want to show you guys like kind of what I was at last year in terms of overall, because I want to compare uh, by the end of the year kind of where we are. So right now, overall, we're at 569 kills for bosses in general. We're hoping to get that into the 5,000s if possible by the end of the year. That'd be pretty sick. We're already kind of a month in, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of where we get. But who knows? Maybe we'll have a fight where we're fighting the spider, for example, where the kills are going really fast. Um, yeah, this is going to be a really fast boss. This isn't going to take too long. I'm going to get this done really quick. I probably will just move on once I get to that 125 KC. Not really interested in staying too long, um, as it's just kind of pointless for me. Uh, this is the supply cost so far, which is 641K, which, yeah, I could avoid that if I were to get like the Soul Reaper's axe. I would be able to avoid that. But just to blitz through it, it's way faster with a scythe because of that triple hit than it would be with the Soul Reaper's axe. So I'm going to just stick with the scythe, just blow through this boss, get it done with, and move on. But with that being said, I will show you guys the final log and supply cost once I finish, and we will be back with that. All right. With that being said, we are now at the 125 kills for our challenge. We have completed the said challenge. It took a while. We have been going back to work consistently. We're going to the gym more, so I haven't had a lot of time to play. However, I will keep playing as much as I possibly can and keep doing these kills. But just to wrap it up, it's a simple wrap up. We got 125 kills, 1.31 mil for our total. So we ended up actually getting 5 Scurious Spines. So if we ended up getting that challenge, we would have actually finished it right at the 114 KC. But otherwise, it was about 1.31 mil in total like gain. However, in loss, we had about 1.76 mil. So we ended up losing more than we gained. However, we kind of figured that was going to happen. Most of that came from the scythe. If we were to use a different weapon, I'm sure we would have been able to gain more. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's just the Scurious. So, yeah. Not really much else to say other than that. We will be moving on to our next boss. So that concludes this episode. I hope you guys have a great day. I will be on to the next boss, and you guys will see what that boss ends up being once we get to that part. Have a good one. Have a great day or weekend wherever you guys are. Peace.